session, so we will share a recording with you, all right? So don't worry about that. All right, so are you guys ready? Type in ready in the chat, right? If you're ready, type in the chat ready. Type in the chat ready. Okay, Muhammad, you will take care of people who are joining, so let them join. We have maximum 100 seats, so I think after 100 people will not be able to participate. So leave a message for them to join in the future session or share the recording with them. Okay. So that's something that is a problem we have in today's session. So there are limited seats and response was good. Okay. There are more than 100 people they have registered. All right. So when you talk about ready, we see Ali said ready, Abdurrahman ready, Ziauddin ready, Asad Ali ready, Arsalan Waris ready, Tawsif Fakar ready, Zahir is ready. Okay, Umar Amin ready, Muhammad Atiq is ready, Karam is ready. Okay, very good. So a lot of people are ready. Good. So we start with the first question. Have you attended any Lean Six Sigma training before? So yes or no? Type in the chat, no. Yes or no?
No.
Yeah. Normally you just, let's use chat for our communication, right? So a lot of people know. Abdurrahman said yes. Okay. All right, good. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, normally what happens is with the Lean Six Sigma, if starting with the white belt is actually introductory belt, right? So if people don't know, that's still fine. Okay, so that's how we started. All right, so the way that we'll run this session, it's about 2 hours. We'll go and cover about 1 hour. We'll take about 5 minutes break. Then we'll go ahead and start with our session again. Okay, so it's about 2 hours. Once you attend 2 hours certification training, you will become certified as Lean Six Sigma white belt. So in your profile, in your LinkedIn, in your you can go ahead and you can mention that you are LSS GB certified, LSS WB certified, which is white belt. Okay. So let me do this for you. Okay, I think your camera is different angle now. It should be much better, by the way. Let me adjust myself, right? Okay, there you go. We are good. All right, everyone. So let's go ahead with this session. So we start with Smart Irtekaz introduction. We are training and consultation organization, been working in different markets, majorly Saudi market for more than 10 years. I've been in industry for more than, about 20 years now, alhamdulillah. Conducting PMP, Lean Six Sigma, ITIL, and some soft skills training, which includes leadership, time management, communication skills, train the trainer, and so forth. So Lean Six Sigma white belt is an introductory belt in the different certifications or belts of Lean Six Sigma itself. So white belt is about 2 hours. You get to introduce about what is Lean Six Sigma, how it can benefit you and your organization. And majorly the benefit is you become certified, right? So those who are joining us now, all right. So as we can see, we have about 95 participants. Okay, it's going to be 98 or something. Okay, so my request to you, you have to stick around till the end so that you become certified, because later on, a couple of times you have to mention that you are here in the session, or you have to reply back to the QD, all right, through the chat. Of course, we are recording the chat. We're recording the session itself. You can use it later on for your reference, but majorly, the chat will give us your attendance itself, right? For example, now if I ask you guys to type in your positions, so in the chat, please type in your position. What do you do? So if you are in maintenance supervisor, you are working as a cost coordinator. Thank you. Adil, Asad, customer care, Sajid, QC engineer, Shuaib, QC engineer, Waqas, okay, Ilyas, Muhammad, operations manager, Umar, SM is engineer. Okay, very good. Just want to make sure the Zoom is good.
Good afternoon.
All right, so that's fine. We see Brian, we see Galaxy. Okay, very good. All right, so that's good. Okay. Just want to make sure that the Zoom in is here. I see M server. Okay, real estate developers. Okay, very good. Okay, one again, I request those who have joined on multiple devices. So, for example, from your laptop and from your mobile, please join in from only one. Okay. So that will help other guys to join, those who wanted to join, right? So because we have limited seats. Okay, we'll take snapshots later on as well with the names to make sure that you are there. And of course, our team will reach you within 1 week. Inshallah, you will get your certificate. That's a digital certificate, right? So you'll get your certificate by email. A quick question to all of you. So you've joined in from different angles, okay? So from where you get our information? I know a lot of people, they've joined from TikTok, as I believe, and there's some from, I guess, LinkedIn, from some other areas. So please type in from where did you get the information? So I see Majid, TikTok, Asal, TikTok, okay, Muhammad. Okay, very good, thank you. Something is wrong with the Zoom itself, right? Okay, very good. Thank you. And by the way, my camera is here, my screen is here, right? So if I'm looking here, don't think that I'm ignoring you, all right? And I'm looking at your chat itself. So that's Brian, TikTok, referred by a friend. Okay, good. All right, so let's continue. Thank you, everyone. And we'll continue talking. And this is a way to communicate, right? So one thing, if you don't have my WhatsApp number, save on your mobile. My name is Adnan Rafiq Ahmed. I'm director at Smart Irtekaz, founder of Hayun Training itself a few years ago, and we shifted to Irtekaz itself. So it's been many years working in the same industry, certifying people, shifting to training, and of course, transferring knowledge to people as well. Now, will this certificate or other certificates help you in your career? Well, they're supposed to. I'm the proven case. It helped me a lot. And I have a lot of students, it helped them a lot as well. Okay, so yes, it should help. And then where does it help the most? So that depends on your job, depends on your organization, what certificate you do, and then your specialty as well. Now, but overall, again, all this is supposed to help you out. It's a bigger picture. We'll talk about that as you move on, maybe in different session, but yes, we'll talk about that on the career growth. So everyone, let's get to know Lean Six Sigma, right? So let me share my screen. We'll continue with this. We'll also send you a presentation by email, right? So once we send you, or do you guys want the presentation as well? Maybe let me share it with you guys right now. What do you think? Yes, no?
You can share it later.
Okay, let's do that then. Okay, so we'll send by email, okay? No issues. Okay, so let me do this. Okay, good. So you can see my screen? Yes. Okay, so we'll send by email, okay? And that's how you carry on. You get your certificate and your presentation, okay? So that's Lean Six Sigma white belt. Again, when you say what is Lean Six Sigma, in a quick introduction, it's a problem-solving methodology, right? So when you say problem-solving, it means any kind of problem you have in your organization. Now that could be personal and professional both. We'll talk about that once we reach to question answers. But it's normally problem-solving methodology. What kind of problems? So let's think professionally. That's our focus for today. So let's say your sales, you're not achieving sales target. Your marketing is not giving you proper returns. Let's say you have problem with your procurement. So your customers are delaying sending you, or your suppliers delaying sending you your products. Your team is not performing to the mark. All those are problems, right? So all those problems you can fix using Lean Six Sigma methodology. It's a problem-solving methodology using 5 phases. Now, what are those phases? Phases are define. So you define the problem. What is the problem? What's happening? What's going on? So as I said, what is the problem? Maybe you cannot achieve your sales target. What is the problem? So I see some engineers there. So maybe you have a lot of breakdown in your equipment, in your plant. So that's a problem, right? Unplanned shutdowns. So you fix the problem, but you need to define what the problem is. Also, how big is the problem? Now, how many shutdowns do you have? So unplanned shutdown, what, 3 times a week, maybe 5 times a week? So how much, how many, how big is the problem? And this impacting you with what, $5,000 a month, $100,000 a month, 5 million a year. So you need to understand what is the problem, how big is the problem, and what's the impact of the problem, right? So that's basically in define phase. I'm just giving you the gist, right? So let's just talk about that. Let me do this. Okay, so when I say that, we're just talking on a bigger scale. So you understand how to define the problem, then you move on to the measure phase, right? So in measure phase, you need to calculate the sigma level. And we'll talk about sigma level as you move on. But just to give an idea, as the name suggests, it's 6 sigma, right? So there are 6 different steps or 6 different levels, right? So if your organization is a 6 sigma organization, and I want your attention, how you say that? Let's say you're producing these mobiles. It could be anything, by the way, right? And this is applicable to your service industry also. We'll talk about that as well. So let's say you produce these devices. Out of 1 million, when you produce 1 million devices, you consider to be 6 sigma organization if you have only 3.4 defects. When you talk about mobile, it means it's either 3 or 4, right? So 3 pieces gone bad while you're producing them, you have to throw them away or scrap or redo them, right? So anything. That's called, if you have 3 defects out of 1 million, okay, that means your process is a 6 sigma process. Let's apply that to service industry. Let's say you are serving your customers, you're telemarketing. Out of, or inbound or outbound, either ways, out of 1 million calls, only 3 calls are complaints. Okay, so that's out of 1 million. So make sure that you get to know this number. All right, guys, mute yourself, please. All right. So when you talk about out of 1 million, whatever you produce, whatever you do, if you have 3 or 4 defects, that is actually your sigma level. So that's your 6 sigma, if you are 6 sigma. If you have 233 defects, you're lower now, you're 5 sigma. If you have 6,210 defects, you are 4 sigma. So just like the more defects you have, okay, your sigma level will go down. So it's inversely proportional to your 6 sigma, right? Again, this is your 6 sigma, that's your 3.4 defects. So the more defects you have, lower the sigma is. More defects you have, lower the sigma is. So your Lean Six Sigma concept is directly associated with how many defects you have in your process, how many mistakes you do, how much wrong you do in your organization. Is this clear? Do we understand that for now? So type in yes, type in clear, type in clear. Okay, 6115, yes, Khan clear, Muhammad clear, Mac clear. Okay, very good, very good. So that's your measure phase, right? So I give you a high level on the measure phase. Then you move on. So you define the problem, you measure your sigma level, that where you are, and then we move on to analyze phase. Analyze phase is where you try to identify why are these defects happening. Remember, it's DMAIC, D-M-A-I-C, all right? So you define, you measure, now you analyze. So in analysis, you try to find out that what is going on, right? So you analyze the root cause of the problem. So why I'm not achieving my sales? Why our marketing is not giving us enough returns? Why we have unplanned shutdown? Is it because of this one specific rotary or specific filter that shuts down all the time? Is it because of the fluctuation in your electricity, in power? So you try to find out what exactly is the problem. So you identify the root cause. Now that's again, you use multiple tools. There is Fishbone, there is 5 Whys, again, so many others. We use Pareto as well. So you filter down from the big problem to the root cause itself. So now you know this is the reason why we are having problem. All right. So in analyze phase, you try to reach to your root cause itself. So remember, it's DMAIC, D-M-A and then I-C. All right. So Nawaz, yeah, just D-M-A-I-C. Now, after you analyze, you know the root cause now. Okay, you move on to improve. So you bring your team together. And by the way, Lean Six Sigma projects are teamwork. So with multiple teams from different areas, You bring them together and you guys discuss with them what's happening, what's going on. Your team is the one who will help you collect data, and maybe they're the only one who's collecting data. But once you collect data, you analyze with the team. Now you go and improve with the team. So you bring your people, key experts, and say, hey guys, what do you think? This is the root cause. How can we fix it? We have wrong
Can I have a
paid marketing
can I have a
campaigns.
question here, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the way you're saying that in the Lean Six Sigma, you analyze the critical issues and you gather the teams and you ask them, like how this thing is going to be resolved. So if please correct me if I'm wrong. The function of the project manager isn't it the same thing while the project manager is trying to resolve the conflicts around the stakeholders? So could you please differentiate the criteria here?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question. Normally, we'll have time to take question answers, so you mark your questions and you can type your questions in the chat itself as well, right? Yes, we'll have question answer session later on. 2 times, one before the break and one before we complete our session itself. But that's a good question you asked. So let me give a quick brief and then come back to DMAC again, right? Overall, what organizations do? So any organization is either a production house, they're producing something, or they are serving the customer. So they are either service-based. So you are doing the production, so your operations, okay, which is again, by the way, service and production is the same as operations, or you are project-based. So you're producing something, you build a hospital, you move on, you build a mall, you go ahead and move another and build another mall. You implement SAP, then you go ahead and implement for the other organization. So either you are project-based or you are operations-based, all right? So production operations is the same or service is the same. So now in both areas, you have problems, right? So in services, you have problems, as I said. In projects, you also have problems. What are the problems in projects? So as I talked about earlier, your suppliers delay the delivery. It could be any item, right? So if you're constant having delay from your suppliers, that is actually a problem that you're facing in your projects. Now, when you talk about operations and projects, both of them, they face problem. That is where Lean Six Sigma comes in. So you apply Lean Six Sigma methodology in operations or in projects in both cases. Now, when you talk about project management, the specific certification for that is the PMP, all right? Project Management Professional Certificate. Then we talk about operations. So there are multiple other certifications such as ITIL, IT Information Infrastructure Library, which is how to manage your operations in a better way with some other certificates. So Lean Six Sigma is core about how to solve the problems, either in projects or in your operations. Now, when you talk about project manager, now, let's say, for example, you're working to implement SAP. Now, what is your core objective is to start in a specific time and you end at a specific time, giving your customers complete requirements over time again and again, right? So that's basically what you do as a project manager, manage your stakeholders, manage all the team members and so forth. But when you have dedicated problems in your project, you may assign that role to different team. You may do it by yourself as well. So while you're implementing SAP, you'll also take up a Lean Six Sigma project with the DMAC phases, which means to improve your, for example, let's say issues with your suppliers, licenses or whatever, with your team constantly coming late. By the way, a question to all of you guys. I want you to type in yes or no. So is this a problem? Have you seen this in your organization that team members are coming late to office? Umar said yes. Arslan said yes, Munir said yes, Waqas yes, Muhammad yes. Okay, so Amir said no. Okay, very good, lucky. So overall, what happened is that, let's say, for example, being a project manager, you have team members coming late. So you may want to have someone else to take a Lean Six Sigma project to see what is the root cause, why people are coming late, so they can fix it, and then people start coming on time. Now, by the way, your project might be only 4 months long or maybe 4 years long, right? So again, it depends on the whole situation. If it's a 4-month long, I may not go with the Lean Six Sigma approach. I may go with the different options, right? I may do one day Kaizen project, all right? I may do maybe just a quick tool, which is FMEA. So again, it depends on the situation, the criteria, the scenario, and what kind of problem you have to apply what kind of tool. So in problem solving journey, there are many tools. As I said, there's a Kaizen, there is, you can just simply apply FMEA, which is one of the tools used in Lean Six Sigma, but you can apply that as a standalone. So there are multiple ways you can actually go ahead and work with your problem solving approach. Lean Six Sigma methodology is one of them. So where do we apply Lean Six Sigma? Where we have problem, but the root cause is unknown, right? Now in Kaizen, yes, 50% of the root cause, you already know it, right? So that's where you apply Kaizen. In some others, you know, maybe 80% of the problem or the root cause, and you apply those tools. Like, for example, I directly do fishbone if my problem is a very limited scope. It's only between two people, one activity, and that's it. It's not the big department. It's not the whole project. So again, depends on what you want to apply based on what kind of problem you have and your circumstances, your organization, your team members, and so forth. Okay, so coming back again to DMAC. So you define the problem, you measure your sigma level where we are, which means it's telling you how many defects you have. Okay. Then we move on to analyze. So we get to know the root cause. Okay. Once we know the root cause, then we move on to improve phase. And with multiple ways of brainstorming, you try to improve. Once you come up with the improvement options, you have to test them. Which one is the best? Again, in multiple ways you can test. One, you can do your virtual session or simulations. You can also do your pilot testing for one department or only one area of the organization. And once you get to know, yes, it's working, apply the solution in the whole organization, right? So that's basically the improve phase.
Can I add something here? Sorry.
Let's keep the comments for later on, right? Because, you know, we have limited time, so let's complete that throughout the session. All right.
All right. Okay. Please,
yeah, please let's keep that way. Okay. Just please note your comments, right? Of course, it's very important, very valuable, but please note it down so you don't miss it and we don't miss it, right? Thank you. So once you come up with improvement, you simply move ahead, you implement it. So DMAC, the final stage is your control. Hello? You don't want to improve something and then, you know, stay there for like few days and again go back and crash. Okay.
I need to say something.
Yes, please.
I need examples accordingly, please, to understand.
Okay, that's what I was just about to say. So when you say example of control is that, you know, people have experience with the weight loss program. So you do rigorous workout, you achieve your target, but then once you leave the control out, you go back to the old state. Okay, so that's basically what happened with organizations as well. You fix your plant, now you have very less unplanned shutdown, but once you leave the control, which means the proper pre-planned maintenance, you leave the training for people, you leave your control charts out of the way, you don't monitor your, let's say, for example, the gauge, different gauges, you will start having the unplanned shutdown again. So that's how things happen, okay? Overall, that's just, by the way, high-level information on your DMAC. Again, let's just recap a quick one. Lean Six Sigma is a problem-solving methodology. What kind of problems? It could be your unplanned shutdown. It could be not achieving your targets. It could be performance targets or sales targets and whatever. Let me ask you, if you type in one kind of complaint that you guys are getting from your customers or from your management, please type in your complaint in the chat. Let's take like, let's say 30 seconds. Type in your complaint in your chat box. Any complaint that you're facing right now, the critical one. So Umar said quality complaints for products. Yes. Wakas, video delay. Okay, so this I think is about us. When we finish the task, client delay deliveries, unplanned outage, delay in delivery, customer support delays. Okay, slow progress, missing milestones, response issues from the team, payment delays, unplanned requests. Okay, very good. See, these, what you see right now are the problems in the organization. So can we fix these problems with the Lean Six Sigma approach? Answer is yes. The only thing is, by the way, if you ask me, can you apply Lean Six Sigma to this? My answer is, do you have data? Because data is the key, all right? So if you have data, yes, you can do it. If you don't have data, then go and collect data. if you cannot collect data, because sometimes you say, I don't have team, my team is very busy, we don't have process to collect data. Okay, then let's go and create process to collect data. But if you cannot collect data, that means you cannot run Lean Six Sigma project, because Lean Six Sigma, the backbone is the data. So I want all of you guys to say this, okay? Show me the data. Okay, by the way, when I say it, it means literally, yeah, unmute yourself, everyone, unmute yourself. I'll say 1, 2, 3, and you'll repeat, okay? So unmute yourself wherever you are, unless if you're in a public place or in office, don't do it. But otherwise, everyone will say it out loud.
Office.
Wait, I'll say
Show data.
on the count, guys,
Show
on
me
the
the
count.
data. Show me the data.
On the count, on the
Show me the
count.
data.
I'll say 1, 2, 3, then you will say it.
Show me
1,
the data.
2,
Oh.
3.
Show me the data.
Lean
Six Sigma backbone is the data.
Not satisfied with the
Show me
Okay,
the
thank you.
data.
So now mute yourself, guys.
office.
Show me the data.
Show me the data, please.
Show me the data.
Good. Now mute.
Show me the data.
That's enough.
Show
Okay,
me
thank
the
you.
data.
Show me the data.
Enough, guys. So let's mute yourself. Time is over. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? Show me the data means if you cannot collect data in your organization, if you don't have those processes, create the process to collect data. If you cannot collect data, it will not give you the analysis identifying your proper root cause. Okay. For example, we talk about we cannot achieve our sales target. But when you go and look into the data, I find out that my team, they're supposed to make calls, let's say 100 calls a day, but they're only making, let's say 10 calls a day. So what does that mean? That the data tells me that something is wrong in my process itself. Activity is not get done. So we're not achieving our target. We're supposed to call 100 people, but you're only calling 10. For example, let's say if you talk about plant shutdown. So how many times your plant shut down and you don't even know, or you don't do the proper maintenance or plant maintenance. So you need to have this data that will help you to identify what's going on. Okay, that's where we talk about show me the data. That's why data is important. So if you don't have data, you cannot run Lean Six Sigma project. If you don't have data, go collect data. If you don't have process to collect data, go create the process to collect data. So that's basically how things are supposed to work out. Okay, clear so far? Type in clear. Type in clear. Okay, very good. So that was a gist of the Lean Six Sigma itself. Okay, I take much time because now things will be more clear to you once we go through the slides. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. That's where we start with our Lean Six Sigma. Okay. Our company introduction that we'll keep for the end. What are we going to cover today? So an overview I already gave you. So here we talk about continuous improvement. So think about what I gave you as a brief. Why we are doing Lean Six Sigma itself is majorly because of the continuous improvement. Because what your organization wants to do, you want to grow over time again and again, right? So think about this. If customers complain, which is some of the problems that you guys mentioned, customers will, and you don't do anything about it, the customers will go somewhere else, right? So what will happen to you? Well, less revenue, most likely organization is not going to have profits, and they are going to do the layoff or maybe shut down, right? So look at the impact of not staying up with the competition because someone else is, right? Your competition is doing good work. They're getting maybe better equipment. They're getting better resources. They're training their people. But maybe if we are not doing it, we are going to lose. So that's basically where the continuous improvement comes in. Who will do it? Who's responsible for the continuous improvement, guys? Type in the chat. Who is responsible for this continuous improvement? Everyone, organization, us, exactly, us, we, all right? We are all, you are the one who's responsible for the continuous improvement in the organization. So you have to have the top management support. That's a key point. Now, here's the challenge. If your management doesn't understand this, what will you do? So if your management does not understand that you require support or you need to improve or you have to take an action, what you will do? Some people say nothing, right? We'll just, management don't want to do it, then what we can do? So Faisal said, teach them. Okay, very good. Nawaz said, communicate to them. Ali said, reminders, convince the management, educate them. Very good. Yes, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to communicate to them, right? So communication can be happen in multiple ways. Ad hoc discussion, just, around the corner, you guys are getting coffee in a coffee room. So you talk about the problem there, just give, some feelers there. You guys can have a proper, detailed, systematic presentation as well. In your quarterly meeting, in your monthly meeting, you can propose, you can tell them something that's happening. So yes, what is the key point? Remember the define and the measure phase. So define the problem, how big is the problem? How many defects are we getting? That's 2 element is giving your management a heads up. Hey guys, be careful, what's going on? We are going to lose, let's say, 500,000 in a year if we don't take an action. Or we are going to lose, let's say, 5 customers in a quarter if we don't take an action. So yes, that kind of information, the knowledge sharing, the communication will have your management jump on the seat to take an action. That's where the support come in when they see the numbers, especially when you talk about dollars, okay? But for this, you have to know that there is a problem. So you need to know yourself, the problem is there. With the help of some data, how big is the problem, right? So that's basically what we're talking about. That's where the continuous improvement comes in, okay? So let's think about this. What percentage of your time is not adding value? What do you think? 50%, 20%? What percentage of your time is not adding value? Adil, 50%. Ali said 20%. When you say 20%, it means 80% of your time is adding value to the organization. Mohsin said 100% is not adding value. All right. That happens, but let's look at the criteria. All right. So when we talk about adding value, what does that mean? Basically, we have some criteria when we talk about what does value added activity means. Your time is actually, time is basically task management, right? Or activity management. So in your activity, if you fulfill customer requirement, you are adding value. If you are moving towards completion, you do an activity and it moves you towards completion, you add value. For example, you guys make tea or coffee, right? If you add the creamer, if you add the milk to the coffee, does that move you towards completion? Yes, it completes your coffee, right? So that's basically what we're talking about. Once you take any action, adding sugar, for you could be value added. For me, it's non-value added because I don't take sugar. So that's basically the point. Whatever moves you towards completion, whatever is fulfilling customer requirements, and whatever customer is willing to pay for it. Sometimes when you go, since you talk about coffee, you ask for, let's say, extra shot of caramel, right? What they say, pay extra. So if it's valuable to you, you pay extra and you get the extra shot of whatever the cream is or caramel shot is. So that is value to you. That's why you pay extra for it. And there's so many services like that, right? So that's basically value added activities. Now we are doing something today. You're spending about 2 hours of your life. Is this adding value to your life? Is this a value added activity? Ali said yes. Sajid said yes. Uzma said yes. Well, I'm hoping that it's adding value, all right? So first of all, it's your knowledge. Second, you become certified. And third, if you go and implement Lean Six Sigma projects, it may save your organization few thousands, maybe millions, by the way, all right? My proven history track record is, yes, it will save you millions, okay? Again, depending on the organization, depending on what you do. All right, so are you adding value? Yes, that's a point that you need to understand, okay, based on the criteria. And of course, you do that in more detail once you apply Lean Six Sigma projects. Customers, how they look at you, are they satisfied? And you have internal customers and external customers. Internal customers, your other departments. External customers are your customers who are actually paying, all right, or external to your organization. The element here, the key point we are talking about here is to become effective and efficient, right? That's a key word. What does that mean? Becoming effective, I want you to type in the word effective. Becoming effective means result oriented, okay? So you're supposed to produce 100 of these pieces in a day, and you produce 100 pieces, that means you are effective, you achieve your target. You're supposed to reach to the airport and you reach to the airport, right? So that's you are being effective, result oriented. So the key, right? Thank you, SM Rashad. So being effective is directly associated with your results. And then we have being efficient. Being efficient means I want you to type in cost. Being efficient is directly associated with your, by the way, it's not only the cost, but it's some other elements as well. It could be you produce the same 100 pieces with less cost, with less time, with less resources. I mean, at the end, we can always look at the cost, but that's basically the idea. So you produce the same item, you reach to the airport, but in less time, okay? So that's basically what we are talking about here, guys. By the way, a message in case if your friends, those on TikTok or those who registered, they cannot get in because the room is full. So we'll share the recording with them, or maybe we'll arrange later on sessions also, right? And by the way, keep up with our site and follow, so you get to know more information about our upcoming webinars and the free sessions. And of course, the other training sessions that are coming up. Okay, so that's basically internal excellent customer, and the core at the end, operational excellence objective is to be more effective and efficient. Operational excellence, one of the key tools that you apply is the Lean Six Sigma itself, right? And we'll talk about in more detail later on. Someone mentioned about what is Lean Six Sigma. So Lean Six Sigma as a methodology is problem solving, but Lean is focus on waste. We'll talk about that. It's coming up most likely in the second half. So important concerns, what challenges you face in your organization. So you need to know the problems. What are those challenges? Who are the people to fix those problems? And do you know the tools? Are you resourceful? Do you have a methodology that you can apply and to fix those problems? So that's basically what we are looking at. And that leads us to become more effective and efficient. Okay. So as Lean Six Sigma is a data-driven methodology, we talk about being what? Show me the data, right? So where the data come from? Well, initially, if you don't have any data, you just simply guess, right? So I think this is what's happening. I think we have 20 defects. I think we have 5 complaints, but that is something that you think. But remember, when you talk about data-driven approach, it has to be accurate. So you have to really go and look at how many exact complaints do we get from customers, whether they are emails, whether they are calls, whether they are forms being submitted. So we need to look at that. So it has to be accurate data, not just something that you think. So from intuition and brainstorming, you move up and collect the real data. You do some basic graphs and charting, understand what's going on, leads you to the detailed statistical analysis. That will actually help you to understand, of course, your sigma level, then further on your root cause, why it's happening, right? You may have multiple reasons. So just a quick one. We talked about earlier, people coming late to office. Now, it may not be you, it could be some other colleagues or friends, or maybe yourself as well. What are the reasons why you come late to office or other people come late to office? Type in the reasons, guys. So Nawaz said traffic. Reason why people come late to office. Being lazy. Okay, so you leave late, so you reach late. Mindset, mood. Bad management, okay. Time management, ignorance, being sleepy, not motivated to go to office, maybe, yes. Dropping kids to school, okay. Bad planning of routine, okay. Traffic. Maybe your car shut down, right? So maybe having a flat tire. Maybe some other issues as well. Exactly, all right. So there's so many other things. Accident on the road, right? So exactly, many reasons. Thank you, Brian. The point here is, once you collect the data, now let's say I have 100 people, they gave me, let's say 120 reasons of going office late, 120 reasons. Now, what I will do, based on my data, I will go and collect, I will do my Pareto chart, which means how many of these are happening the most. So I find out, for example, let's say traffic is happening the most, or let's say being lazy is happening the most. Let's say 30% people are lazy, and that's why they go late to office. And then 20% is traffic, and then 5%, 2%, whatever the other numbers are. That will actually help me to statistical analysis. Based on numbers, I know which one is happening the most. That's my priority. That's basically what I will work on. Okay. Make sense? Do you understand that? All right, so based on statistical analysis, I know the priority, and based on that priority, I will go and implement. I will bring my team and say, hey guys, let's see how we can fix it, how we can fix the traffic issue, how we can fix being lazy issue, all right, or whatever the root cause we have. So that's basically what we need to do. Again, if I don't have data, then I will just simply guess. Now, based on my guess, what I think is the root cause, I may go and apply a solution, but it may not give me results because maybe what I think is not exactly the case. So that's what we're talking about, reality versus the accurate reality versus the issue that we have. So it may not match if we don't have the real authentic data, okay? Then you do the inferential statistics. We're talking about more detailed stats. Now, this is where the fun part comes in. Once you actually grow with the methodology, once you grow with the data analysis, you can also work out on chances of producing something. For example, you get a customer, they walk in today, and it's very important, everyone. A customer walks in, a new customer walks in, actually a prospect walks in, and they say, I want to give you a project. I want to give you an order for the mobiles. What are the chances that you can produce these 1 million or 10,000 or 5,000 pieces in a week? Okay. So, or what are the chances that you will produce these 1 million with 0 defects or with only 1% defects? Okay. What are the chances that you can produce this with the thickness of this mobile? See, this is where it is getting funny, right? So thickness, the customer requirement is, let's say, 0.2 centimeter. And they say, what are the chances that you go above 0.2 centimeters? All right. So that's basically where you need to go and do the inferential stats. Based on data, you can predict the future. All right. Based on data about your process, you can tell your customer that this can happen. So that's confidence of you in your data based on your or confidence to your process based on your data, right? So if you don't have data, we cannot say this. Okay, so that's just giving you an idea. Lean Six Sigma is data driven, and it can help in many or multiple ways. Gain confidence of your customer. So your analytical maturity will go as high as you move on a higher level based on the data itself. Okay, so you ready for another quick one? Here's a valuable thing coming up. Are you ready? Type in ready. Type in ready. Adil ready, Majid ready, Usma ready, Zahir ready, Romanik ready. Okay, very good. So here is a concept called Y is function of X. Y is a function of X or function of X because there are multiple X's. Now, what we are talking about here? Think of this. I'll use a coffee example, right? If that's okay with you. So you want to make a cup of coffee. By the way, I have a glass of water now, right? So imagine you have a cup of coffee, or you're going to make a cup of coffee. So your Y is the output. Your coffee, cup of coffee is your Y. You need to do some function. You need to take some action on multiple X's to make a cup of coffee, right? So let me ask you this. What are the X's? What are the inputs you need to make a cup of coffee? What are the elements you need to make a cup of coffee? To have a good, perfect cup of coffee, what are the X's needed? Muhammad said water. Tosif said water. V2043 said ingredients, coffee. Zahir is coffee. Okay. Suhail said milk. Zahir said sugar. Thank you, Romanik. He said equipment. That's what I was looking for as well. The utensils, right? Can you make a cup of coffee without having a cup? So you have to have a cup, right? You have to have a spoon or equipment that you boil the water, right? Or maybe let's say the automatic coffee maker. So you need to have all the equipment, right? So yes, and you have to have coffee itself. If you don't have coffee, you cannot make coffee. You don't have the beans or you don't have the powder. So yes, all these are the X's that you require. If you have those X's, so another question, if you have perfect X's, can you have a perfect cup of coffee? Munir said no, Noman said no. Okay, some said yes, maybe. Okay, Ikram said not all the time. SM said there could be some errors. Okay, yes, very good. So yes, we're talking about some yes and no because it's two parts, right? It's not only the X part, it's also the function part. So y is a function of x. So you have to have perfect x's and the perfect functions. So I have my coffee, my creamer, my sugar, my everything, but I'm doing it in a wrong way. Then of course I end up with the wrong cup of coffee, right? If I put too much of coffee, it will be maybe too dark, right? Or if I put too less, I don't feel coffee, I feel milk, right? So that's basically what we were talking about, exactly. So you have to have the proper, yeah, if gas is not available, exactly. So you have to have x's and you have to have proper functions, which means we're talking about the process itself, right? That leads us to a concept where we say Lean Six Sigma is a concept, a process-based methodology, right? We want to fix the organization, but we cannot fix the whole organization in one go. So what do? We break down the organization in smaller pieces. Lean Six Sigma, since it's a problem-based approach, we look at the service itself, or we break it down into your process itself. So you look at the process and you go fix one process, then you move on and fix the next process. That's how you move from process to process. Example, in your organization, let's say if you're service industry, let's talk about hospital. What processes do they have as a whole? The first process is when patient walks in. So you register them. That's one of the process. Another one is visiting the doctor. Or let's say take the vital signs, then visiting the doctor, then do some tests, then you go and get your medicine, So all these multiple combination of these 6-7 processes will make up a complete service for the hospital, right? There could be more or less. I'm just giving you a high level information. So that's how, if you go to hospital and may Allah forbid, right? May Allah have you good health and your family as well. But let's say when we go to hospital, in registration takes a lot of time. You're patient or you are with the patient and they're taking forever to register you. Now you get irritated. And sometimes there are fights at the registration table at the hospital, right? Because people, they're taking forever. Maybe they're not trained enough. Maybe their system shuts down. Maybe they have a too big of a form, right? It's not simplified. There are multiple things. So that's basically what we're talking about. You look at the overall process based on the problem, based on the complaint, based on the data, you pinpoint the area and you try to further go and identify the root cause, which X is critical. So if the form is critical, we need to fix the form. Instead of having 3 pages long, let's shift that and make it like, only 10 or 4 different fields, 5 different fields, and then you move on. So you need to look at where the issues are, fix that issue, and then you carry on. All right, any questions? Let's do a quick question answer session at this time. What I will do, we'll also go live on TikTok as well, because some people, they may have issue joining. But anyway, we'll do that, okay? And we'll carry on. So any questions so far? No questions. How we ensure the data is authentic? Okay, thank you, Ali. So we'll answer that. Okay, we'll go live in a few minutes. Okay, I think right after the break. Okay, so now when training is important or equipment, actually both. You need to look at, again, based on data, will tell you which one is the major issue. So the one which is giving you the high priority, all right? Let's say, for example, you're getting mistakes or the defects because your people are not trained, not because of your equipment. Then train your people. Or you have a lot of defects because equipment shuts down. Then you have to go and fix the equipment first. So again, data will tell you which way you go ahead. Okay, so someone asked about, again, the question is, how do we know if it's, okay, break we'll take in a few minutes, right? So not right now, stick around. So I think we'll take break in another, maybe 5 minutes. Break will be 5 minutes, I think. Okay, 5 minutes will be enough because we still have to complete some of the other elements. The data, how do you know if the data is authentic? Now, one of my practice, first of all, based on your experience, based on your expertise, once you look at the data sheet, the Excel file or whatever the way that data is presented to you, you can do some quick analysis to find out if the data is right or wrong. For example, we had a huge data bank of 16,000 patients when I was working with King Saud University as in the endocrine lab. So out of 16,000 patients, and I was responsible of the data that we have. We had their blood serum and then the data associated with that. it was hard copy form, and my team was shifting that to the soft copy. So I go back and look into the forms in the Excel file. Let's say if I look at the whether they are gender, male or female, and I click on and from the data, it's either 0 or 1, right? So out of those 16,000 patients, when I go to my multiple Excel files and I click on one and I see that what is the data there, think of this. I have multiple team members, right? So there is Ziad, there is Khalid, there is Ibrahim. When I look at the Ziad data, it's all 0 or 1. And then I also cross-check with sample data, some names. I see, for example, there is Ahmad, it's 1. There is Ibrahim, it's 1. There is Rita, it's 0, right? So yes, that's a correct data, and it's all 0, 1. I see Ibrahim's data, and I see a lot of 3 there, and I see a lot of blank there. So that gives me that this file is not really a good or quality data. Something is wrong there. Sometimes you go back and look at your Excel, the hard copy files as well. So you see that if the data is matching, like for example, one of the other element we had was the weight to calculate the BMI. So again, if I make my list of ascending order of the BMI, I see somewhere it's like, there's a cutoff value range. Below a specific value or above specific value, it could be a defect, right? And you can go back and look at the compare with the age, cross-reference. So we find out that, some of the data with one guy, the BMI is out of range, all right? I mean, the data is showing this could be a child, but the age is showing it's 25 years old. So that means there is something wrong. I go back and look at my form. So if the data is wrong in the form, that's another mistake. That means you have to fix your process of the data collection. If something is wrong in your actual data itself, that means the guy is not taking care. So you have to train people, maybe come up with a different way of formatting as well, different way of data collection or converting data into the system. So there are multiple things, right? So that's basically what we're talking about. Why is function of X? You understand that? It's a very powerful tool, by the way, and you can apply that standalone. So that's the last thing I'll say before we take a break. Pay attention, guys. Look at this. That's why I said, are you ready for this important one? Y is function of X. Let me take an example of plant shutdown. So your Y, it means, let's say 80% of operational efficiency. In order to achieve this 80% efficiency, what are the X's you need? So there are multiple functions, multiple X's you have to do. For example, part of that is plant maintenance. Part of that is proper, let's say, inputs, the proper levels of inputs, right amount of input and the right input. So there are two different things. Then we're talking about doing a proper liability checks, doing a proper, so many other elements you have. Now, you find out that because you don't do plant maintenance, that's why you're not achieving 80% of your efficiency. So now what will happen? This plant maintenance will become your Y. Now you have to identify more X's for this. Okay, let me repeat that. Make sure you understand. So you have your Y, which is 80% efficiency in your plant, and multiple X's are there. One of the X is plant maintenance. And you find out through the data that we don't do plant maintenance in a proper way. So that could be a reason of having your plant shut down. So plant maintenance will become your Y, and now you identify X's for this. What are the X's for plant shutdown? For example, having resources, having third party coming and conducting the session for you or the maintenance for you. Finance, of course, you need to have the budget as well. So there's so many other X's as well. And you find out, since we don't have the budget, we don't do the plant maintenance, or we don't have the resources, we don't do the plant maintenance. Now the resources will become your Y, and you do another round of Y's function of X. So you can do 3 or 4 levels of the Y's function of X. You may reach to the root cause. Resource, why we don't have resource? Again, it could be because of the budgeting, or because people are busy with something else, maybe because they are lazy, because you don't have a proper plan. One of the key reasons why I have seen in my experience, resources don't have proper communication with other departments. So the plant maintenance is not aligned with others. That's why you have issues with the resources. If you do it in a proper plan, the things will be done in a proper way. Because what happened now, someone else is doing something, plant has to shut down, and the guys who are supposed to do the plant maintenance, they have not been communicated. So they're just sitting idle, doing nothing. While at the same time, they can do and do the plan maintenance, maybe a day before or after of exact plan that you have. Most likely before the plan, before the date that you have. But now they're sitting idle, right? Because they have not been communicated. Now, that's basically what we were talking about. You identify the root cause. So do multiple levels of your wise function effects. So that's another powerful tool you can run standalone. But again, depends on what kind of problem you have. If it's a limited problem, small scale problem, you can do wise function effects. Okay, are we good? Are we clear? Okay, thank you for your feedback, everyone. Let's take quick 5 minutes, okay? And we'll see you guys back in 5 minutes then, okay? So it's 2:05 at my time, 2:10, we'll be back and we'll start again. In the meantime, if you have questions, please type it in the chat, okay? And we'll come back to your questions or just take notes. So I'll go and come back in 5 minutes, okay? Yes, everyone, we are getting back. Okay, so uh, how to analyze we are going up or down in our organization. Okay, why error is not included in RCA formula. Error can itself be an X in the formula. All right, so see, first of all, when you talk about how we analyze organization, so look at your key element, which is either sales. So is your revenue going up or down? Customer complaints, customer orders. So that's basically, what we're talking about. How do you check your performance of the organization, right? So for us, we look at our training. So do we get recurring business? Either people recommend other friends to join, or either they come back for the different sessions. So if recurring business is happening, that means our performance is good. All right, our quality is good. So you look at what is the critical element of your organization. What is we call it primary KPI, primary key performance indicator for your organization. Looking at the error. Okay, so in RCA, the formula, the error actually is in your output, right? In your Y, 80% efficiency. If I cannot achieve that, that means something is wrong. That tells you that something is wrong. Now, something can be wrong with X itself. So X is the critical element. You have to actually look at that, focus on that, and then identify what is the root cause there. Okay. Just like we say, if your plant shut down, then why it shuts down? Well, you're doing the plant maintenance, but something is wrong there. So while in the plant maintenance itself, people are not trained. So that could be the reason. Okay. You have to dig deep, basically. That's the idea. All right, guys, I want you to take a minute, write down your full name that you want on certificate. So please type your full name, only your full name that you want on certificates. All right. And I'll be back. All right, so just make sure we have the full name. Okay, thank you. There you go. Just give me one. Anyone missing, please type in your full name, all right, so you can get your certificate. Okay, so any other questions for now? Okay, we see Faisal, Junaid, Zahir, okay. Yeah, let's just make sure that we get your names. Okay, so we'll take the record, okay? So you guys will get your certificate in within a week, inshallah. Okay, so just make sure you have due to technical issues for members joined from one account. Okay, so yes, we showing, okay, so I didn't understand, Abdurrahman, what you exactly meant by we are two people sharing the screen, so should give two names. Okay, yes, please. If you're two people sharing the screen, give two names. That's fine. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So let's go ahead and start again. So we were talking about, let me share the screen. We mentioned about wise function effects before we went on the break. So now let's talk about furthermore. Okay, so there's some more questions there. Most of the organization face problem in data, either data is not available or quality of data is not sufficient to perform. Okay, so so as I said, data is one of the critical element for your Lean Six Sigma projects. And by the way, not only for Lean Six Sigma, it's for operational excellence, right? So if you don't have data, then go collect data. If you don't, if you don't have the process, create the process to collect data. And once you identify, and a good thing you mentioned is that we have data, but the quality is not good. Now, at least you understand what is the problem there. So you need to go back and look into improve the quality of data, which actually most of the time problem is with the people who are collecting data. The team members, they are not very much focused. They're not been trained. You need to motivate them, all right, to collect the right data, because that's the ground reality. If that is not giving you the right picture, you will not be able to understand more. The way that I define is that if your data is wrong, your analysis will be wrong, you get the wrong root cause, which means you don't understand the right root cause, which means you cannot fix the problem. And your improvement will be wrong, whatever improvement you come up with. So the whole time that you spend in this process will be a waste of time. Your management will ask you that, you were doing a Lean Six project. How good is that? What are the results? Your answer to them is, sorry, we did not improve as we expected. So make sure your data is correct. All right, so another request, please mute everyone.
Continuous improvement.
Okay, so now coming back to the case again. So I had to mute our member there, right? So I think someone is asking, what is this about? So now, just want to make sure that our session is being recorded. Yeah. Okay, good. We'll share this with those who have missed it, and even if you request to see it again, so you can go ahead and watch the session. So that's no problem there. Let me go back and share my screen. So we talk about, and someone was asking about the data, right? Now, one of the things that I would do, that I've been doing, and I highly recommend you do the same, is that once you collect data and you train your team, your people to go collect data, don't just let it go and wait for a month so that they will come with the complete data and then you carry on with your analysis. No, if your team go and collect data, ask them for the data next day, all right? So the next day you go back and look into how good is the data. So do the quick check right away. I mean, I would go and get the data in 2 hours and see if they're doing something wrong. So I can go and tell them, hey guys, don't do it this way, do it a different way. So you need to do the constant data checking, whoever is the project manager of the Lean Six Sigma project, to make sure data is correct. And don't wait till the end to correct your team, all right? Train them right away. All right, guys, so coming back to the session, Lean Six Sigma. Again, a problem-solving methodology with 5 phases, the MAC. By the way, in Black Belt, we talk about other phases as well, DFSS, Design for Six Sigma, but that's a different story. For as a white belt, yellow belt, green belt, you focus on the MAC. Lean focus on waste. So what is a waste in your organization? What is a waste in your organization? So the waste has 2 definitions. Number 1, anything which is extra is a waste. Okay, and that's a fun part, by the way. How many of you have more than 1 cars? Right? Let's you know. You don't have to answer, by the way, all right? So there are some people, they have 2 cars, right? And maybe more than 2. But the point is that, you know, with more than 1 car, that means you're paying for more than 1 car's insurance. You have to have someone who's doing the cleaning and maintenance of the car. Of course, there's some more obligations as well, the license fee and so forth. And of course, the devaluation of the car is happening not to 1 car, but to multiple cars that you own. So more than 1 is waste. That's 1 definition. Okay, by the way, that's a high-end definition. So that's a second step of definition. The first definition, or the core, is anything that is a hurdle in your performance is a waste. Anything that is a hurdle in your performance is a waste. For example, if my internet cuts down, I will not be able to talk to you, our session shuts down, that's a waste. Okay, so that now I need to identify why it happened and fix that. By the way, that leads toward the business continuity concepts as well, okay, to some extent, but that's basically what we are talking about. So anything that is a hurdle in your performance is a waste. Anything that is extra is a waste, okay? So we need to go and identify what the waste is there. Someone mentioned earlier, explain 5S. I'll talk about later on. 5S is one of the core tool, basic tool, focus on reducing or removing waste from your process, okay? So Lean is focused on waste part, which is introduced by Toyota experts, okay? And that's more Japanese experts. That's why a lot of Lean tools are in Japanese. The names are in Japan or Japanese. Even Lean is waste is called Muda, okay? You find out 5S is all, by the way, Japanese name there, but we give you the English name. So it's Seri, Siton, Siatsu, and so forth. Then you heard about Pokayoki. Okay, that's again Japanese. You heard about Kaizen. That's Muda, M-U-D-A. Okay, that means waste in Japan, in Japanese. Yeah, my slides are not moving because I'm still here, right? So I'm talking about Lean here, waste. So waste is your, yes, waste. So first you identify what waste do we have in the process, then you eliminate the waste. Then we come to the Six Sigma part, which is about more on variation, okay? When we say variation means, since I was using the coffee as an example, so let's talk about coffee. You go to a specific coffee shop, right? So some of you guys have a specific, you love maybe Dunkin's coffee or Starbucks or whatever. So you go there and you try to get your coffee from there almost like every day. Why? A lot of people, they answer, it's the same taste all the time. It's the same quality all the time. Now, when you say same, yeah, guys, if we would have been together, that would be coming from us, right? But for now, just help yourself. So inshallah in the future, all right, once we meet up, physically we'll offer you coffee and tea, inshallah. So the same quality, right? And this means the consistency, okay? So what happened? They're using the same equipment. They're using the same amount of let's say the creamer, the sugar, the coffee itself. They use the same equipment and the same utensils. So the same amount, the measurement is the same. So it's a standard process to produce a standard cup of coffee almost all the time, right? So that means that they kill the variation, or they have very minimal variation. When you talk about variation, so understand this. I want all of you guys to think about this. Last week, 5 days, you go to office. What time did you reach to office? I want you to type in what time did you reach office. So you write down same time or different. So your answer is same time or different. So like for example, Asim said 8:15. But my question, do you reach 8:15 every day? Or was it 8:05, 8:07, 8:20? So was there a different time? You get my point? I see a lot of people, they say same time. Here's the answer, plus minus 5 minutes. Very good. That's very good answer. Margin of 5 minutes, exactly. Off due to rain. Okay, very good. So you're lucky one. 8:30 almost every day. So that's almost every day. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So you have this 5 minutes variation. So you move between this variation. But imagine that you reach to office exactly 8:15, as Asim mentioned, 8:15 every day, same time. By the way, if I plug in this in my data and I use my tool like a Minitab or statistical analysis on Excel, it will give me error. Error that there is no variation. So something is wrong. All the processes that we have, all the processes, even very mature processes, will have some variation. It could be 0.001%, but there will be some variation in the process, right? That's how it's designed. That's how we do things, all right? Okay. Are we clear on variation? So what you do, you are delivering customers the goods, right? So your delivery days, 5 days, 7 days, 2 days, you promise them we delivered by this time, but now there is variation. Now, less variation, okay, this much variation is okay. But if the variation is more, that you have more trouble, you have more customer complaints. You tell them I come at 9 a.m., you reach at 9 p.m. and they shut down their warehouse. Now there is trouble. You tell them we reach on 27th and you reach on 29th, 2 days variation. So you see, the more variation you have, the more trouble you have. And that's basically the Six Sigma focus on. So lean focus on removing waste, Six Sigma focus on reducing variation. Together, they are fixing your problem. Okay, that's how things are. Very good, if it's clear. So earlier, the lean were implemented separately, even you can implement now. And Six Sigma was separate, but then some experts, they came and combined the tools. That's where it became Lean Six Sigma. And that's how we are doing it as well. And it's a very good lethal combination, okay? It works very well. So when you talk about Six Sigma in percentage, so 99% means 3.8 Sigma, which means unsafe drinking water for 15 minutes per day, or one incorrect surgical operation out of 100. Remember, it's by the way, when I say 1 million, 3.4 defects, 1 million, 1 million is the standard number. I may not produce 1 million mobiles, maybe only 1,000 in a month, but I can still do my calculation based on the formula. There's a mathematical formula there, okay, to calculate your Sigma level. Okay, compare that with the Six Sigma. It means 3.4 incorrect operations in a million. So you look at the difference between 99.9997%, which means your Six Sigma, or only 99%, which means 3.8 Sigma. So that's just the numbers that are giving us the reality on what's going on, what's happening. Okay, we'll not get into more detail in the white belt on the statistical side. And by the way, your other belts, you don't really have to be a statistician to become Lean Six Sigma, green belt, or black belt. Okay, black belt, yes, you need to know the tool a little bit in more detail, which actually happens over time. Okay, but again, as we speak, recommendation is to become white belt. So I think everyone should be white belt certified. Okay, we have some recorded lectures as well, and this will be given to you. You can even pass on to your friends. Feel free to share that with others. We'll do live sessions just like this one as you move on in a regular basis. So you can recommend to your friends. They can become white belt certified. Those who can and want to excel in the career, go for the green belt. White belt is free, but of course, green belt, there is a fee. But yes, if you think it's good, you can skip the yellow belt and directly go to the green belt. And I'll talk about that later on once the belts will come, okay? Yes, you should go and do the green belt next, all right? That's what I highly recommend. Black belt later on. If you find out, yes, it's for me, it's good for my organization, we are doing Lean Six Sigma projects, and I want to excel in operational excellence side, then you go for the black belt, and in the future, the master black belt, okay? I'm Master Black Belt, by the way, right? So we'll discuss more details as we go ahead. So value in reducing waste and Six Sigma is reducing variation. Okay. At the end, what will happen? I want to ask you at this slide, if you reduce the waste and if you reduce the variation in your products and so forth, what will happen? What will happen to you as a company? Now, I want you to think for a minute. You are the owner of the company. All of you, you're the owner of the company where you're working. And right now, earlier you said there were some problems, right? Now the problems are fixed. What will happen now? Okay, so we have the winner, Tahir. Thank you. Cost saving. Exactly. All right. More productivity, dollars. Exactly. Thank you, Ziauddin. We're talking about money. At the end of the day, it's the money we talk, right? You improve the quality, yes, but what it will lead to? You have high satisfaction from the customers. That means they come back to you again and again. Cost, revenue, exactly, all right? So you increase revenue, get recurring customers. Customers will not leave you. They stick with you. They stay with you, all right? Perfect, perfect. So see, think from the business perspective, from the top management perspective. If you're talking about money, that the problem will lead us to lose this much or improve this much or make this much, that's where you go ahead to go and implement your Lean Six Sigma projects. Okay. So just a quick introduction. As I said, Lean was introduced by Toyota experts back in 1940s. It is also called TPS, Toyota Production System, and Six Sigma by, see, a lot of people, they think about Jack Welch or GE as the name, but they're not the one who created, invented, or discovered the Lean Six Sigma. It was actually Motorola who started this initiative, all right? And we have Bill Smith. He's the guy who came up with the mathematical formula of calculating your Sigma level. So he's also called father of Six Sigma, okay? So that's Bill Smith. And that is back in late 1980s, okay? GE took over, and good thing is they actually communicated in the market what is this concept, how to use it. They published some case studies, as I believe, and that's basically where Six Sigma became more popular, right? And it's still happening. So we talk about difference between improving, and that is being a process and system based, which means you have proper way of doing things with the help of who? With the help of people, all right? So you have a system and you have people who are doing it, you combine them together and you can improve. And that's where your all problem solving tools come in. They are not automated tools. They are done with the help of people, by the help of people, based on the right knowledge, okay? So Lean Six Sigma belts. So you are going to become white belt certified today, inshallah, all right? By the way, we have your names, and since you already gave your names, don't leave because you may have to do it again. We know the story, right? So white belt, you can go and put in your Lean Six Sigma LSSWB. Sorry, you can go to put this in your business card. I would say business card is good when you become a green belt certified, like PMP, all right? It's more like a management level certificate. For now, you can put that in your, let's say, LinkedIn or in your profile. Yes, you can do that, and so forth, right? So now you are LSSWB certified, white belt certified, which is 2 hours introduction, basic of Lean Six Sigma. Yellow belt is about 2 days training, but again, that's theoretical, just like what we are doing. There is no exercise. You're not doing anything, all right? Then you have the green belt. That's actually 5 days, about 30 hours training, which actually, this is where you implement a project. You do hands-on. So each candidate work on a project, sometime with the team. So you learn the tool. So you apply the DMAC, which I explained earlier. So you do the define, you do the measure, and you pick a project out of the projects that you mentioned. Like someone mentioned about production shutdown. Someone mentioned about procurement delays. Someone said customer delays, delivery delays. Those could be your projects. You take the project and we will apply a green belt project on that. It's a virtual project, which means we assume few things, but once you complete the training and you complete your certification, you have a kind of 50% ready project that you can go to your organization, talk to your management. If they give you approval, you go and implement it. That's the best practice that happened with myself, with my people, with my attendees for many years, and it works very well. By the way, you will work on 2 projects, one during the training, all right, and one after the training. So part of this, you do a project to learn. Once you complete this, at the end, you have a green belt exam and you have a project to submit. That is where you become green belt certified. White belt, there is no exam. Okay, it's only attending the knowledge. It's about attending the session. Green belt, you have exam and you do the project and you become green belt certified. Then you have black belt, and by the way, green belt is about 1 week. Then another 1 week where we go into more advanced and more topics of the DMAC, and we cover a little bit of DFSS. So you become black belt certified. Okay, and then so 30 hours of training for the green belt, 30 hours for the black belt. Anyone can directly go to green belt, or now since you guys are white belt and you can go to the green belt, you can skip yellow. You can also go to black belt, but you still have to complete the green belt's week of training. Okay, so financially and the time wise, it becomes the same. Okay, so that's where, and once you become the black belt, that's where you can move on to become master black belt, where you actually have to implement the project, not the virtual one. You have to complete the real projects, and you have to train people. You have to show your specific expertise as a master black belt. So in the organizations where you have operational excellence department, they may want to have someone who is master black belt to lead the green belt or black belt or Six Sigma program. All right. Even organizations want to have reporting to the top management. So mostly black belts are reporting to the GM directly, or to the CEO, or maybe advisor to the CEO directly. All right. Or they are the guys who are operational excellence department heads. So there is a career growth with all these certificates as you move ahead. There's a champion training. Now, once you decide to implement Lean Six Sigma in your organization, you may have to run about 1 to 2 hours introductory session to your top management, 5-6 people. That's where you tell them what is Lean Six Sigma, how it benefits the organization, and a quick introduction about DMAC as well. That's optional, by the way, but that will actually give your management a heads up on what to expect and what to do, right? So that's basically champions training. Because remember, without their support, you will get a lot of roadblocks in your Lean Six Sigma projects. So once they know what you're doing, they give you a go ahead. Like in my case, the top management went ahead to different directors and said, this is Adnan and he's working on a Lean Six Sigma program and we need your support. Just a quick 5 minutes meeting with all the department heads and boom, I get all the support. So when I need data, I talk to these guys, who's the right guy, I get the information. When I ask something, when I want to schedule training, they don't say, oh, our guys are busy, no, we cannot do it. No, you get the support. So that's basically champions training is important in the beginning of your actual Lean Six Sigma project. There is no certificate for champions training. It's just the knowledge sharing with your top management. Okay. Thank you. So someone mentioned they are interested in the green belt and so forth. Yes. Those who are interested, you can type in the chat itself. You can mention it now that you're interested so that the team will capture. We have Usman, Arslan, and Salman. They may contact you guys later on as well. Someone mentioned about the cost or the fee. Yeah, it's not free. Okay. Yeah, sorry to say that. Of course, we have our expenses as well. We have to cover those. But what we do, we try to make it easier for you. We try to make it best for you, especially with 23rd of September coming up. You guys know about National Holiday, right? So National Day, Saudi Arabia, we are US-based company. So we have to give specials on 4th of July. We are Pakistanis, so on 14th of August. We have to give specials on National Day on 23rd September. So all this together, we have specials going on, right? So we'll talk about those as we move ahead. So it's a good opportunity to do it. And our next session is coming up on 30th of July. So there is one coming up because we conduct multiple sessions. So Green Belt is on 30th of July. Also, business continuity is on 30th of July. We'll share more details with you in a few minutes. Okay. So let's go ahead and cover this. I have few slides to cover before we complete our knowledge about white belt, and then we'll talk about these extra details, guys. Okay, even though it's important, but the objective is white belt certification. So waste. What is waste in Japanese? Please type in what is waste in Japanese. Brian, Muda, Asim, Muda, Zaldin, Muda, Majid, Muda, Y3 Muda, okay, Faisal, Muda, Sayed. Very good. Hey, you guys are learning Japanese in this session, right? Okay, so there are 7 different types of waste, or the waste, where the waste come from. Okay, what is those type? And then you can go and fix those. So let's talk about those 7 type of waste. Remember, Tim Wood. By the way, you don't have to remember these, right? But what happened is, being a white belt or green belt, it's good to sometimes show off to your friends, right? So you know a little bit of Japanese now, and you know Tim Wood, okay? Tim Wood is basically the names which is source of your waste. So T as in transportation, okay? Guys, what I will do, I'll shift my battery for the camera, all right? I forgot to do that during the break, so I'll do that while we speak. So let's just do this for just a few. So disruption with the camera, all right? But anyway, we'll continue. So here we talk about Tim Wood. Tim Wood stands for waste of transport, okay? Such as, while you move equipment from one place to other, you actually have to, you actually damage your equipment. So that is your waste of transport. You have to pay extra as well, right? So that's more money. It could be a reason that you have your warehouse far away from your production plant. So you have to transport, you have to use a lot of transportation, which also leads towards waste, right? You have to have trucks, you have to have manpower for that. So you understand what we're talking about now, right? So is the waste of transport clear? By the way, you may also have some accidents, right? So because of the accidents, there's also issues, and that is because you have to transport. Unless if you have it very nearby, you don't have to worry about it. Are we clear with this? So Khan said clear, Umar said clear. That is waste of transport, okay? Then we talk about inventory. So either you have too much inventory and you have too less inventory. Your equipment shuts down, your printer shuts down, you don't have the cartridge, you have to print a very critical document right now, you cannot do it. So too less inventory or too much inventory is again a muda of inventory, okay? Sometimes a bad inventory management as well. Yes, you have those cables and you know it's in the inventory, but where are they? You cannot find it. So that's again an issue, right? So we are talking about inventory in that perspective. So bad inventory management is also a waste. Then muda of motion. Okay, when you say muda of motion, it means, remember, you have transport and we have motion. Transport is moving from one place to other, of course, using your trucks or whatever the equipment you have or transport you have. Motion means your personal motion. So when you go to the bank, you see the tellers, when you give them the cash, they take your cash from the window while they're sitting there, and they have the counter machine there, they have the drawer there, they have the stamp there, they have the stapler, they have everything within their arm's reach. They don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to go somewhere to get the stamp. So that was a muda, huh? Right? So someone shut the door, sound, disruption. Anyway, those are stakeholders. Kids, especially with these days, what we have on virtual sessions. So alhamdulillah, it's all good. So we talk about motion, which is everything within your arm's reach. So if I have to get up and go somewhere to get it signed, I have to go there to get the stapler done. That's basically where the problem is, right? So I may get tired. It take more time as well. I may not be able to accommodate as much customers as I can. So that's a waste. Waiting. Now, in the beginning, we started our session at 1:10, right? So it was about 10 minutes delay, technical issues or here and there, waiting for some other people to join. So that's, if we wait for the other team to give us some data or give us some approval, that's your waiting. And that is very common in organizations, right? You're waiting for someone to give you approvals. That's your muda of waiting. Are we clear with this? Okay, just want to make sure the things are okay. Over-processing. Over-processing means you're supposed to do something, 3 steps, but now you're doing 4 and 5 steps. So you're doing more than what it is required. That's over-processing. For example, you're going somewhere, you have to take this gift and you wrap it. Very good. But then you wrap it twice. The second wrap is over-processing. That's an extra one. why you have to do it. So extra steps, that's actually over processing. In our organization, when you write down a document, then you give it to someone to double check. Then you give it to another person to please read it again. So these multiple checks is again over processing. Why don't we come up in a way that the person who do it right the first time, right? Remember, that's value added. If you're doing it again and again, repetition of something, the same activity, that's non-value added, okay? That's over processing, overproduction. We produce more than what we need in the next step. Now, the best example is in Ramadan, okay? So what happened? We are fasting, so the whole day. So what happened is by 4 or 5 p.m. when you're going to prepare your food, you actually cook more than what you can eat. And what happened? After you do your breakfast, you have a lot of leftover, right? Which you want to give away, but then other people don't want to take it as well. So it's actually overproduction. You produce more than what you need, okay? Could be lack of knowledge, could be multiple reasons, by the way, wrong planning as well, wrong estimation, which you can do, you can fix with your inferential stats. That, for example, next month, what will be demand of our product or demand of our service? So you can fix that, you can work out on that. Okay, so that's overproduction. And then finally, defects. Defects basically rejection. You do something, customer rejected. You do something, customer don't want it, all right? You do something, but it was wrong. So I make this cup of coffee, but it was too much or too strong. Customer rejected. So defects. Basically, again, for defect perspective, you have to go back and look into why we are doing it wrong and then fix it. So these are 7 different types of waste. It's called Tim Wood, for easy to remember, right? Transport, inventory, waiting, motion, overproduction, overprocessing, and defects. By the way, you have actually a couple of more. As top of my head, I can remember there is a muda of safety. So either you don't have safety or you have too much of the concerns. For example, when you're walking in your office, there is like, let's say, for example, you have wooden floor and it's actually tripped somewhere or broken somewhere. So people can trip over it. And that actually happened in last year, or actually a couple of years ago. We had one of the colleagues, he actually tripped over and actually burned his ankle or turned his ankle, right? So injured himself. It was a recorded injury, all right? Which again is multiple KPIs in the organization, and it will impact your performance. Worst case, of course, you have to shut down your process. Someone is taking a medical leave, all right? So, and so forth. That's your Tim Wood waste. That's just explanation of the waste, which you can go through in the slides that we'll share with you, okay? I will talk about quickly on how to fix the waste, okay? So someone asked about 5S. Do you want to know about 5S? Type in yes, no. You want to know about 5S? Yes, Max said yes. Sumar said yes. Jadin said, of course. Sure. Just want to say someone said no, right? So there is Adil said no, right? Or RO83, no. Nazimur Rahman said no, okay. No because you already know it, or no because you don't have time. But anyway, we'll still carry on, right? Majority rules. So guys, 5S stands for, again, there's some Japanese name, but we'll not talk about that. So I'll give a quick brief. Let me do it this way. So 5S stands for, it's a tool which will help you to eliminate waste. So in Japanese name, it's Siasi, Siton, Siketsu, Shitsuki, and so forth. In English, 5S means, okay, so 5S means, the first one we start with is, now, because I just see the message says no means we don't know. Okay, so that means you want to know about 5S. Okay, good. So, and that's a practice that we have done, since we were kids. And may Allah bless my mother. She make us, me and my elder brother, she make us do the housekeeping, right? So the first thing we do is what? We go to the floor, anything extra we have, we take it and throw it away, right? So 5S starts with sorting. What do you need, you keep. What you don't need, you throw away, right? So I need these batteries, I need to keep it. I don't need, let's say, for example, this cup, I throw it away. If I don't know, then I'll keep it for some time, but I monitor And if later on I find out I don't need it, I throw it away. If I find out I need it, I keep it. Experience with you guys. How many times that happened? You throw away a cable or a tool, a screwdriver or something, and later on, after like a week, you find out that, oh, you need it, right? Especially with the cables, right? So that's your sorting. You need to make sure you keep what you need, throw away what you don't need. Sorting. Then the second thing, what we used to do, sorting, straightening, put the right thing in the right place. So if my cup, I need it, I keep it, but I don't need to keep it on my table, right? I need to keep that in my kitchen. So this needs to be there. So you do the sorting, you do the straightening, all right? You put it in the right place. That's what we used to do, right? So first we throw away what we don't need. And if the pillow is on the ground, we put it up and put on the bed or put on the couch. So you put the right thing in the right place. That's straightening. The third thing we used to do was vacuum. I remember, and I'm talking about what, back in 95 or maybe 92, we used to do the what do you call it? Jharu, right? So you heard about that? So what, map? No, it's not even mop, right? So anyway, so you actually sweep. So we do the broom. Thank you very much, right? So that happened after 40, right? So excuse me for the words, guys. So you do the sweeping. Later on, when we got vacuum, it was the happy day, right? I remember me and my brother were like, giving high fives. So you vacuum. So that means basically you do shining. So sorting, straightening, and then shining. You do the cleaning, clean your table, right? Wipe it off, do the vacuum, do whatever it needs. Think from equipment perspective. You have your rugs and you clean your equipment so that it will look neat and clean. So that's shining. Then, now what is the benefit of shining? If you have oil leakage from somewhere, and I want you to remind of your car engine, how does the engine look like? If your car is like, more than 5 years old, then it's rusty, dusty, all right? If there's the oil leakage, you will not know where it's leaking from. And you take to the mechanic, what he will ask you, hey, take to this specific shop and they will do the cleaning, bring it back. So they will actually wash it from above and beneath, and then you go back and take to the mechanic. That's when they find out where the leakage is coming from. That's the benefit of shining. All right. So you do sorting, straightening, shining. And now after this, you keep it, make it a standard. I remember my personal experience when we used to do our housekeeping. It was, these 2 rooms for me on Sunday, the other 3 rooms for my brother on Sunday. And next day we shift. So we create a standard. And the standard is the first thing we do the sorting, then the straightening, then the shining. So the vacuum is the last thing. And that actually becomes the standard. Now, what does that do? It helps you to become more fast, become more quick. Look at the hotels, 500 rooms. What these guys do, when they come to do the housekeeping, they actually have their own standards. So first thing they do, they take out the trash. Then they take out the bed sheets. Then they do the other things. Now, if you tell them, hey, can you please do the bathroom first? Or can you do this first? If you break their sequence, you actually mess up with their performance. And if you notice, the guys who come to do the housekeeping in your hotel rooms, they also become upset. Have you noticed this? Anyone experienced like this? Yes, no? Because they created their own standards. So they do the sorting, straightening, shining. They have their own standard, and that's when they become more efficient. And then finally, you have sustaining. Sustaining means you make sure the above 4S are happening. If they are not happening, there'll be a penalty. Or if it's happening in a good way, there has to be some benefits. Like some companies, they have 5S teams. They go to different departments, they look how things are happening, and they give, let's say that's part of your final evaluation, and you get bonus and so forth as well. So that's basically 5S, sustaining. With the penalty or with benefits, you make sure that you sustain 5S. Are we good? Are we clear with this? So you understand 5S? Okay, thank you. I thought this adds value, so that's why I start talking about it, right? Otherwise, it's part of your green belt. And still in green belt, you go into more detail of all these tools and how to implement. So an overview of your DMAC, let's talk about that. So we start with DMAC itself. We may overrun by 10 minutes, if that's okay with all of you guys, maybe 10, 15 minutes. So in define phase, as you already know what we do, we define the problem. The tool we use is the project charter. So this is how it looked like. So you write down the business case, which means why are we doing it? It's impacting our overall revenue of the organization, or if it's impacting your KPIs of the organization that you're reporting to the board. So it's something that why are we doing it, right? You link your vision and your organization, the problem with your organization. So that's basically what we're talking about. Then be more specific and you talk about problem statement, just like what you did earlier today. So you write down what is happening and you add more elements there, such as what is the problem, how much money is going to impact us with, where is the problem itself, in what process it's happening, and so forth. So there is, when we do the green belt, we do actually all this with a proper case. So we talk about how to write down a problem statement and you write it down. Then we talk about how to write a goal statement, then you write down the goal statement. So that's the difference between the white and yellow. They're theoretical. We are not doing any exercise. In green and of course black, we do the exercises. Anyway, so you write down your problem. Example was for, let's say you're unable to achieve your sales target by 20% in last 6 months, which impact your organization by 5 million. Okay. Then we talk about goal statements. You want to improve the sales by 50%, by 80%. Then we talk about Sigma level. So there are ways to calculate your Sigma level, which is again a detailed concept. So you cover in the green belt. Once you know your Sigma level, you write down we are 3.2 Sigma or we are 2.8 Sigma. Now, a question to you. You ready for the question? Excuse me. So question to you. If, for example, we have multiple people here, right? So I want to tell you, if your process, you and your colleague, all right? So I'm using Ahmed as your colleague. You and your colleague Ahmed, you're working on the same process in two different, let's say plants or two different offices or two different locations. It could be same process, sales or production or whatever, right? Testing, regardless. So your Sigma level is 3.1. Ahmed's Sigma level is 4.2. Who's better? Your Sigma level 3.1, Ahmed's Sigma level 4.2. Who's better? Okay, very good. Ahmed. Okay, very good. Who have experience? Okay, so Faisal, very good. But here, see, we're talking about numbers. That's a beauty. When you talk about 3.1 and 4.2, remember, Sigma level is inversely proportional with your number of defects. So the higher Sigma level, the low defects you have. That's 4.2, that's less defects. That's 3.1, that's your defects. So 3.1 have more defects, more unhappy customers. So you, as 3.1, are getting more complaints. Your waste is high. Your recurring value, rework value is more. So you have to pay more money in reworking the issues, in fixing the issues. So your branch, your plant profit is less than Ahmed. So who's going to get promotion this year? Of course, Ahmed. Who's management happy with? Of course, with Ahmed. You see what we're talking about now? You see the impact? And is it clear when I think I see someone else mention 3.1, right? So do you understand now, right? So 4.2 Sigma versus 3.1 Sigma. Okay, very good. So once you know Sigma level as well, you move on, you understand who are the team members and how much time they're going to spend on the project. So it's 5%, 10% means they do the regular job, but 5% of their time in a week, they will spend on the project. So it could be 1 hour meeting in a week or 2 hour meeting in a week, okay? You look at what is the scope of the project. Scope means the limitation of the project. So are we talking about your plant in your location or all the plants in Saudi Arabia? Are we talking about only sales or only marketing? So what is the scope of the project? Then we talk about the process itself, from where it starts, where it finishes, estimation of your benefits, what we may improve. Remember, the money-wise, financial benefit is the key, right? So this will help the organization to know how much money we can save. Okay, so we'll ask questions in a few minutes, everyone. Okay, so stay tuned. We'll talk about that, inshallah, in a few minutes. So estimated financial benefits. By the way, if you guys can log into your TikTok and you can, because I'm live there as well, if you can do that, you can just simply, give likes or whatever, right? So let's improve the the status there as well, if you can do so, or we can do that later on, right? I'll stay live in TikTok for a few minutes. Anyway, carrying on with this, and yeah, thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Keep doing that, please. So we'll do some more good stuff, hopefully, inshallah. And your feedback is important. All right, so estimated financial benefits. Someone says that how can we know in the beginning that how much money we can save? Again, based on your problem, how big is that? How many defects you have? We can estimate. And accounts or finance department can help you in this. Remember, Lean Six Sigma is team's effort. It's not only one person job, right? So we need to work together on this. Yes, we'll talk about the Six Sigma belts later on as well, inshallah, right? So we talk about your goal statement needs to be SMART, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time frame, which means you don't want to go work on a huge scope, which you cannot fix. Green belt projects are about 3-4 months long projects. Remember, limited scope. In one department, you fix a problem. Black belt projects are more like 8 months project to 1 year. And there are multiple departments. They are bigger problem. Of course, the financial benefits for green belt is maximum $1 million. For the black belt is more than $1 million. All right. So that's how you define and you differentiate between green belt and black belt projects. And there's some more details as well. Also, it depends on the organization. Okay. TikTok username. All right. So team, please share that as well in the chat. Okay, so by the way, it started with Apna Ustad, Apna_Ustad. All right, that's how just happened. I've been teaching for many years, so this is something I came up with. Okay, so when you talk about in the charter, the process, what the start and end, in the scope, you do that using a tool called SIPOC. SIPOC means supplier, input, process, output, and customer. Normally, we start with the process. What is the process? What's step number 1? Then step 2, then step 3. So that's how you identify high level, 4 or 5 steps. And then where the inputs coming from? So you write down the inputs. Who are those giving you the inputs? Those are the suppliers. From the process, what are the outputs? So you write down those outputs. Who get the output? So you write down the outputs. Okay, let's go back to our example, coffee. My process, remember, we heat the water or boil the water. Then we add coffee, then we add sugar, then we pour in the cup, right? So 4 or 5 high-level steps. What is the output? Cup of coffee. Who gets my cup of coffee? Maybe my friend, or maybe myself. What are the inputs? Sugar, coffee, creamer, equipment. Who give me that? Who's my supplier? Maybe kitchen supplies. Maybe ABC company who give me this equipment to prepare my coffee. Okay, so just. Okay, sound is there. Everyone, sound is there? Can you hear me? Okay, yes. So maybe a glitch for someone. All right, so that's basically how you write down SIPOC. SIPOC is a critical tool that we use in define phase to understand the problem in a good way, because that's basically the start. See, if your base is not right, your other steps will not be right. If your base is wrong or tilted, you build a tilted tower. And not every tilted tower is the Domino's or Pizza Tower, right? The 7 wonders of the world. Picasso Tower, what do you call that? Pizza Tower, yeah. So anyway, you need to make sure your base is correct. If you define problem in a correct way, you will actually do the measure, analyze, improve in a correct way. Okay. So we do the process map as you go ahead, okay, that normally use in your define phase and the measure phase, and also use that in analyze phase. How many of you already know how to make process map? Yes or no? How to make a process map? By the way, good reminder, guys, drink a lot of water, keep hydrated, especially because of the heat. And stay in shade. Also remind your friends and colleagues and people at your home, right? Family. Okay, thank you. So some of you know, some of you don't know. Process map, yes, it's actually a workflow, right? Just like you can see as an example. So whatever the action you do, you put in a box, and with the arrow you say, after this we do this, and after this we do this. So it's actually flow of your activities in a graphical presentation, all right, through this, what you see in the screen. You don't have to be an expert in this. It's very basic and simple. And normally you get to learn in green belt, you practice that. But here, just to give you an idea that that's the flow chart. And again, there are multiple ways. This one is a little bit more advanced. It's called swim lane view. Swim lane, as in swimming pool, you have multiple lanes because it's dividing in different departments as well. What the application team will do, what the allocation team will do. So you write down each one who do what activity, and with the arrow, you tell them who will do what first and next. So it's a flow of your activities through the graphical presentation. Okay. You can make that in Word. Yes, you can make that through a tool called Visio. You can make that in your in simple PowerPoint presentation. That's it. See, you can use any tool. It's just a graphical presentation that how to do things. For example, someone new joined your department, right? You need to tell them on how to do the audit. If you already have something like this, you give them this, they know that activity number 1 is to prepare the audit plan. Activity number 2 is to communicate with the audit team. Number 3 is to fill the form. So they will know what to do. So it's actually your steps or procedure. It's just in a graphical format. Okay, something very simple. Anyway, so moving ahead, you need to capture the voice of customer. Someone talk about if we have data, but it's not accurate. So this is where you have to put some checks, right? Make sure your data is correct and accurate. So what do we have? Process, and you have customer feedback based on the product and the services you deliver to the customer. This should be a recurring cycle. Now, I met with a company and we were doing some operational excellence work with them, and they didn't have a process where they are collecting data. So customer cannot reach to them. There is no email, there is no form, there is no way, unless customer walks to them, walk in their office and complain. So that means you cannot capture customer data. If you don't capture customer data, how can you improve it? How can you fix it, right? So there are supposed to be ways to collect customer data. We call it voice of customer, VOC. Once you collect this, you also have to make sure what are they saying. So you need to make sure you translate in a proper way. So are they talking about quality, cost, delivery, service time? What are they talking about? So make sense what they're saying. For example, you guys use internet, right? So here's a statement. Let's say you are Mobile or STC or whatever the telecom company, right? Telecom provider. I'm your customer. So here's my complaint to you. Your internet is poor. Your internet is poor. That's my complaint to you. That's my voice of customer. What does that mean? So what do you think? What did I complain about? Please type in one word in your chat. Sandeep said quality. Oka said quality. Umar said quality. Ikram said service. Some said product. Ramik said service. Exactly. See, they're different perception. So what we normally do, we have to go back and talk to the customer. So the next thing you should ask me is, oh, can you please elaborate a little bit more or come up with a specific question? Are you talking about the internet speed? All right. Or are you talking about that there is instability in the connection? So maybe I'm talking about instability. All right. That's basically what I'm saying. Speed is okay. Speed is good. So you need to make sure what exactly are we talking about. So voice of customer, you have to capture it. And then you have to make sure that you understand it in a correct way. Okay, so we move on to measure phase. I already gave you the brief, so this is just a quick go through. Of course, if you cannot measure it, you cannot, really manage it, right? You cannot control it. If you cannot control it, you cannot manage, and if you cannot manage, you cannot improve. So that's basically the idea. You have to have proper data, proper system in place. Now, what do you want to collect about? So again, your base is the problem statement, whatever the problem statement was. Based on that one, you look at the process, and for the process, you have to collect data. The input indicators, the process indicators, and the output indicators. For example, I talk about the coffee. So my input is what? How much coffee do I put in? What is, how much do I boil my water, and so forth, right? Now, my process indicator is actually how long does it take to prepare my coffee? My output indicator, how many customers they reject my coffee or they like my coffee. So you need to actually go back and look at what kind of data you need to collect to understand the overall problem issues or axis of your Y. Remember the Y is function of X? So that's where you come up with different access. Now, see, the flow you understand better once you do a project. So, and that's basically how the Lean Six Sigma projects work. So one statement I gave you earlier was, show me the data. The second statement is, go with the flow. I want you all to type in, go with the flow. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Okay, Waqar said go with the flow. CE said iPhone, Muhammad Shuaib, Ziauddin, Umar. Okay, go with the flow. Exactly. So what does that mean? You start with the problem statement and then define phase, measure phase, analyze, improve, and then control. Some people, what they do, once they know the problem is, okay, we don't get sales. Hey, you know what? Let's start doing the social media paid marketing campaigns. Hey, but then again, the result is the same, no sales. Because you didn't know the root cause, you just jump from define phase to the phase number 4, which is improve. So you directly go to the improvement, which didn't work. So the reason is you missed the 2 steps. Step number 2, measure. Step number 3, your analysis. You don't know the root cause, so you go ahead without knowing what to fix. So that's where you need to go with the flow, right? Do things one by one, okay? All right, so that's your measure phase. Once you collect proper data, you move ahead, you understand the critical customer requirements, we call it CCR, and based on that one, you further actually go and implement things. Of course, once you collect data, you do some analysis as well, which is again, we cover in more detail in our green belts. Then we talk about you can use the Pareto chart. Okay, well, that's normally a chart showing you, Pareto chart showing you which one is the priority, right? Which you use in the define phase, in measure phase. Later on, you specifically use that in your analyze phase to prioritize the problem. Data collections. This is someone talk about what kind of data to collect, right? So based on your Lean Six Sigma approach, you will collect either continuous data or discrete data. You collect data on your KPIs, on your process, input data or output data, and so forth. So again, a little bit more detailed study, which is simple and easy. Just for your understanding, discrete data is yes or no. For example, we talk about so far, have you seen the value of this training? So I want you guys to tell me if you are satisfied with this training. So type in excellent. Type in excellent or good, all right, either ways. And if you're not happy, type in not good, either ways, right? So I see excellent, excellent, great, good, excellent. Thank you, thank you. So my point is, this is a discrete data. So you are happy, you are not happy. You're satisfied, not satisfied. So I see, mashallah, a lot of you are satisfied. Okay, hoping everyone. So that's satisfied. The data is in 2 formats, yes or no. Then we have continuous data, which means the time. For example, for how long this session has been running? 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 5 minutes. So that's my continuous data. Any data with a decimal point is actually a continuous data. That's an easy way to remember. Again, once you go and do detailed analysis, different type of statistical analysis require different type of data. So that's basically why we're talking about this. But you simply move on with discrete continuous data. We will talk about how Lean Six Sigma can helpful in your career, right? So until we complete the presentation, another 5 minutes, I guess, to complete the presentation, and then we'll take about 5 minutes to talk about other things. That's your data collection plan, what to collect, how to collect, who will collect, how many samples do we need to collect, and so forth. So you actually go ahead with that. You move on to analyze phase, you run, let's solve the problem, let's not make things worse by guessing. So it has to be based on data, which is we talked about earlier. Okay, so of course, we go collect data through our fishbone. How many of you have seen fishbone before? It's also called root cause analysis, right? And it's called fishbone, and the other name is called Ishikawa. Those who are PMP certified, it's called Ishikawa. By the way, those who are PMP certified, you can claim 2 hours of your continuous PDUs, okay? Those who don't, forget about it. Don't worry about it. Also, the green belt is 30 hours towards your PMP PDUs, okay? All right, so now, Fishbone is basically where you have the problem and you identify the root cause. Okay, again, you practice that in more detail. So you reach to a point where you know exactly why we don't achieve our sales, why we are reaching late to office. So that's where you identify the root cause. Okay. Once you do that, you apply Pareto, you identify the priority, of course. So you fix the first 2 or the 3 issues at hand. You don't have to pay attention to all the issues in one go. Those will take later on. But initially, the one which is happening the most is what you need to fix first. That's why data is important. And you use Fishbone and Pareto together. It's a combination. It's a pair of the 2. You may apply 5 whys, which I mentioned earlier. When y's function of x, you can use why this happened, and then x becomes the y. Or in simple case, why we are late? Because we are lazy. Why we are lazy? Because we are not motivated. Why we are not motivated? Because less salary. Why less salary? Because I don't have Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certification, right? Okay. So anyway, improve phase. Once you know the root cause, now you bring your team, say, hey guys, let's think about the ideas. By the way, on my YouTube, I have multiple videos, and one of the video is about brainstorming techniques. I think it's about 9-10 minutes. It's a good video. If you can go and watch, normally we cover that in the green belt, but you can still go ahead and watch that. If you already on my TikTok, you can go to bio and YouTube link is there. Okay, subscribe to the channel and watch the videos, share with friends as well. Once you come up with ideas, okay, then you filter them down. My question to you, which idea is the best? Which idea is the best? Team, if you can link my YouTube video as well in the chat, please do so. So which idea is the best, guys? I mean, you as a team, you come up with, let's say you have 10 people in the room and each one gives you 2 ideas. So you have 20 ideas. You cannot implement 20 ideas in one go. So which one we will implement? Ideas that work. Okay, that's a good one. After that, we used affect the product. Okay. So first thing, you filter it out, right? So your filtration is based on which idea is the most effective and the most efficient. You know, some cases it's very simple. One idea you get, a very common idea, let's hire more people. The other one, let's have a different equipment, you know, buy a new equipment or new machine or something, right? But what, you know, these will cost you money. So they're not the most efficient ideas. So you look at the one which is the most effective and efficient, both. Without spending much money, the maximum benefits we get. So you kind of like again filter your brainstorming, and then based on this, you go and do your testing. You do the pilot phase. Okay. So you do the testing, implement the idea on a smaller group, or implement idea for only 5 days and see the results, collect the data. Once the result is good, you implement in a big way. All right. That's how things happen. Okay, and then we talk about, say, yes, success failure depends on the quality and thoroughness of your implementation plan. You will get to know if you fail or if you do not improve based on the data. So we start with define, measure. It took about 2 months. We implement, took about another 1 month, and we see the results are still the same. That means you did not identify the right root cause, or maybe the solution was not effective. So you may have to go back and redo it, and that's fine. Sometimes that happens. Once you become pro, you know, you become an expert, these things will not happen. You'll be fine. So in the beginning, if that happens, that's okay. Normally what I tell people is if you do 2 Lean Six Sigma Green Belt projects, the real projects, the third one, you become an expert. Okay, that's how things are. Finally, control. So what we do, we look into our overall process, our journey. We write down the procedure, we write down the documentation, we create the standard. Let's do this every way. Let's train our people to follow the standard, right? And that's how you carry on. And document your lessons learned, what you learned out of the system, okay? Communication is one of the key elements. Make sure it's communicated. Look at the results, what you achieve. Now, in West organizations, when they apply operational excellence or Lean Six Sigma programs, they have a very clear benefit track for the team. They reward them. In some cases, 20% of the savings go to the team. In some cases, in Canada, some organizations give 50% to the team. Here in our case, my personal experience is we give team 1,000 Riyal when they complete the project, sometimes even less. Sometimes a little bit more as well, but not a specific percentage, okay? But again, you need to look at the team, reward them, recognize them, right? Give them certificate. By the way, once you guys get your white belt certificate, tag us as well. Tag Smart Irtekaz in your LinkedIn, in your Facebook, all right? That'll be good. We'll appreciate that. And we'll also share the test pilot link with you where you can give us the feedback. Of course, I'm expecting 5 stars. Inshallah, right? But your honest feedback, your good words will give us the correct feedback and also the improvement as well, okay? Anyway, our team will communicate with you this week, inshallah. Maybe some information right away and some information once your certificates are ready. So a quick recap, guys. Define what is important, what's going on, what's happening, Mayor phase, where are we, what is our Sigma level, the data that we need to collect. So prepare the data collection plan and collect the data, analyze based on the data, what's going on, what's happening, find the root cause using Fishbone maybe or 5 whys or different tools. So you know the root cause now. Once you know the root cause, you go and come up with different solutions, you implement the solution, and you do the pilot phase, test the solution, then you implement it in a big way. And then finally, you go and keep it under control. A quick one, guys, how to keep your improvements under control. Keep a proper, maybe a chart, maybe Excel file, maybe something will go down and alarm will ring, right? Like in coffee example, we have this, everyone in the organization, they go and change the knob, they change the temperature. So you put the lock there so no one can change it. All right. So that's basically a control. You identify what the issue is and you fix it. Now you put something which will stop, which will control the whole process. Okay. Yes, documentation. Exactly. All right. So you need to come up with controls. Sometimes the camera, all right, that controls the process as well. Multiple ways, multiple things, automated or manual. A very simple, the most effective and efficient control is your checklist. Checklist, guys. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Before you leave the shift, you have to complete all these. Once you join the shift, you have to complete these. When you travel, you have to have these items in your traveling kit, so you don't miss anything. Checklist is a very simple one. It will take maybe 10-15 minutes for you to sit and prepare one, but it is very effective and efficient, right? Work instructions, exactly. Thank you, Brian. And of course, we'll carry on with more things. So now I'm open to questions. Once I share some feedback, our green belt is coming up on 30th of March, as I recall. It's a recorded and live session together. So recorded means, and by the way, how we do it is, it says 5 to 8 p.m. We share with you the session. No, 30th of, sorry, that's 30th of July, right? Not March. Thank you for the correction. Right, so that's 30th of, let me do this. That's 30th of July, okay. And what we do now, as I recall, the fee is $600, which is I think 2250, something like this. The discount offer, guys, and this is one of the best. We have 23% off for individuals. That's 23rd of September, right? So that's a good one. See, it's better than 14th of August or better than 4th of July, right? So you get 23% off as individual, right? And then you may also get 2 + 1, which means 3. So 2 trainings, get 3rd one free. You can take PMP with us. You can take Lean Six Sigma, Green Belt or Black Belt. You can also take Business Continuity, which is also coming up on 30th of July, as I remember. And by the way, we have Business Continuity webinar coming up next week or this week. We'll communicate the date. Mr. Osman, can you please share the webinar details of the Green Belt also? What date is that and time is that? Okay, Business Continuity, sorry. You can also take PMP or other trainings, right? Whatever coming up. We have leadership skills coming up as well. Those who are in management role, I think leadership is one of the good one for you. It's 3 days, 2 to I think 9 p.m. It's going to be kind of a full day, but it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you have 2 weekdays and weekends and 1 day on weekday. So you can manage that. Okay, so that's leadership skills. We'll share the calendar with you as well. Okay, so you know the dates and what courses are coming up. for now, those who want to register for the green belt, please type in the chat, interested. Okay, please type in the chat, interested. Okay, so also those who did not type in your full name, please type your full name in the chat. So for your certificates. Okay, now those who are interested, I will share the quick feedback for you. Also, please type in and the names that we are getting, because we'll save the chat, we'll go through and we'll inshallah give you certificates. Those who are in, please type in your country. Please type in your country as well, where you're from. By the way, our team will communicate with you by email or by WhatsApp messages, so we can carry on. The next is, we know you're interested. So next is, we'll share with you the payment method. So you can simply pay the fee and we'll carry on from there. The only thing you have to do is you'll just tell us what you're interested in. So and the team will communicate to you in chat or in email, tell us what you're interested. 2 + 3, whether 2 people will come and third is free, or 2 courses you take and the third course is free, or you want to take the 23% off. Either way. So whatever offer you want, even if you're in Pakistan, anywhere in the world, you can still take the course. It's online. The way that we do it is we share the recorded session with you, you cover the lecture, then we do the live session just like what we do now. Okay, so it's 1 week, 7 days training. Sometime based on the team, we extend, 1-2 days, we take Friday off or something like this, but that is again part of the team. Once we start the session, we can work out on that. Our starting is, the day that we start the session is on 30th of July, which is Saturday. Okay. Timing is in the evening. Saudi time, we are talking about from 5 to 8. By the way, 5 means you should start watching the video, the recorded session, and you complete, let's say, within 2 hours. 7 to 8 is our live session, right? Which is after Maghrib in Saudi Arabia. So that is, and then for the business continuity, we have from 9 to 10, right? So you have the recorded lecture and the live sessions. Again, you work out on a project. You complete the project during the training, then you're given a week or 2 weeks to complete the final project, which you submit to become certified. Again, on the last day, we highly recommend to take the exam, but some people that take 2-3 days off, you can take days off and you can take the exam later on. But mostly within 2 weeks, you should be green belt certified. All right. I mean, a lot of people, my personal experience, they become certified on the last day because they complete their training in 6 days. We give last day for the presentation, they complete the presentation and they do the exam on last day as well. So a week to 2 weeks maximum, you become Lean Six Sigma green belt certified. Okay, someone asked earlier regarding certification body. Exactly. Thank you, Muhammad Usman. So Lean Six Sigma, remember, it was introduced by Motorola, right? They are the one who created this. Then it took over by GE, General Electric. They make it, in a very good way, communicate in a very good way. So, but there is no one governing body for the Lean Six Sigma, right? Now, PMP has a governing body, which is PMI. ITL has a governing body, so Exxon and so forth. So there are some governing bodies, like for ISO 22301, we have governing body. But for Lean Six Sigma, there is no governing body. Now, that means it's different experts, they came together and they put up a curriculum which is based on Motorola and GE. So they are the benchmark, but they're not the governing body, all right? So there's no one certification organization. Yes, by the way, anyone can join from anywhere. Someone mentioned I'm in India, someone mentioned I'm in Pakistan, that's fine. In Dubai, yes, UK, you can join from anywhere, these sessions. So coming back to the certification again, Irtekaz is Smart Irtekaz is USA based company. So your certificate is Smart Irtekaz USA. We are training and consultation organization. So our certificate is accepted globally. When you go to someone, for example, for job or to your boss that I'm green belt certified, what they're looking for is certificate. Oh, nice, good. What did you cover? Do you know how to do how to improve the process? Do you know how to do the DMAC? That's more important than the certificate itself. So if you come to interview and if I'm interviewing you, I will ask you, do you know how to do Pokayoki? That's more important than the certificate itself. Even if your certificate is from ABC company, all right, in USA or in UK or wherever. So the certification coming from independent organizations, coming from universities, those are all acceptable. More important is what they have covered. So what knowledge has been shifted to you? My personal experience, when I became black belt, a lot of things were not really covered, all right, in a proper way. So I had to learn a lot on my own as well, right? So there was some suffering that I have. So when I train people on Lean Six Sigma, I know what kind of things they miss. So I try to add more topics to my training than less. Okay. Okay, guys. So that's more on. So your certificate at the end, Smart Irtekaz certificate USA is accepted globally. All right. There are also, I have attendees. PCB, sorry, not PCB, Isaac exam. All right. Isaac is, let me type it here for you. Isaac is IASSC. By the way, I am Isaac certified trainer as well. And if you take the training and you want to take Isaac exam, a third-party exam, not from Smart Irtekaz, you can do so. Through the training, you will be prepared for the exam and you can take Isaac exam for the green belt. Isaac is International Association of Six Sigma Certification. It's American. It's a third-party certification body. Also ASQ, American Society of Quality, the third-party certification body. Their certification body, but not the governing body. All right. So the one who do more, marketing become more popular, right? So that's the case. By the way, I'll share my mobile number as well. Thank you for the request. You guys can reach me on WhatsApp as well, right? So I'll share my WhatsApp number. 966 is the area code of Saudi Arabia. So it's 5580347755. My team has shared the number as well. So that's my WhatsApp. If you want to reach me, that you can do so. How Lean Six Sigma can help HR field. So HR, again, what kind of problems you face? By the way, one of the problems that recently I worked with one organization as well, and actually in two organizations, the same problem. The problem was high turnover. So the complaint in the HR is they have a very high turnover. How can we fix it? So you can apply that with the Lean Six Sigma. Again, any problem you have, you can, and if the root cause is unknown, so the criteria is you have a problem and you don't know the root cause, you can apply Lean Six Sigma Green Belt project. We can be more advanced with the black belt, again, if the data is there. No one else needs to share the number, guys. It's only our number that we want to share, right? So for me also, I will not be able to save your numbers, but you can send me a message saying my name is, let's say Patel, and I was in your white belt certification, right? So that's good. I will save your number then, and we can communicate on WhatsApp. Any other questions? If I miss some questions, by the way, earlier we had a question, my friend who can unmute yourself and you can speak. I asked earlier to leave the questions to the end. The reason was we have limited time and that's why it happened. So please feel free if you have any question I didn't answer, you can unmute yourself, ask the question. Yes, anyone? And by the way, now that completes our session. So we'll take the snapshot of your names. Team, please take the snapshot of the names. We also have in the chat. And that's all for today. Thank you for sticking around. Apologies for delaying the session for a little bit longer. So I'm trying to see if there are any other questions. If no questions, if the company want to make group training, yes, we do in-house trainings as well, online or physical. So yes, you can send me a WhatsApp message. We'll talk about that. And by the way, in Saudi Arabia, outside Saudi Arabia, right, wherever, so we can do this. And with this, thank you, everyone. I hope it was a great value for your time. And we try to make it the way that, it brings value. So that's the purpose. Keep supporting on the TikTok and other platform as well, on YouTube. Share the videos, share the link. Your feedback is important. If you do something wrong or if you can improve some way, please tell us, all right? Yeah, tell us in a nice way. Thank you, everyone. You can unmute yourself if you want to speak, you want to talk about anything. And let me look at my team. So Okay, my view. All right, guys. So any questions? No? Thank you. I can see some chat with thanks, with appreciation, a lot of efforts. Thank you, Nasir. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, so you're free to leave, brothers and sisters, friends. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. And we'll be looking forward to see you, inshallah, somewhere, somehow, physically, all right? So, Romnik from Philippines, Greenbelt schedule. Okay, that's fine. We'll work out on the schedule as well. If someone has any issue, we can talk about that also. No problems there.
Yeah, I have a question, Mr. Adnan, if you please.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so I typed twice actually. You missed it. Anyhow, I just needed to ask that what is the difference between the agile methodology and the Lean Six Sigma, and the Make and all these methodologies that you have taught us. So how does it differentiate the agile methodology between the Lean Six Sigma? Because
Okay,
here
good.
we are understand is that we are focusing on the X factor
Improvement
of the
methodology.
X factor of the Y, and we are
Uh-huh.
looking for more into the categorical issues that needs to be resolved in order to have this perfection at the end system.
Right. See, so now I believe Vikas, you're PMP certified,
Yes, you
or
can say
you're
yes.
working on projects.
No, actually, I'm working on projects for the past 10 years. I'm almost like PMP certified, but by profession, I'm a product manager.
Okay, mashallah, good.
Okay, I'm
So,
CPMM from the organization called AIPMM.
right. And by the way, team, we as Irtekaz, we do multiple things. So if you go to our homepage, the form that we have there, when you register based on your concern. So anyway, that's just a feedback to you that we do trainings. We do our Irtekaz program, which is coming up soon for those who are underprivileged. We want to do a training for them. It's about 3 months program, internship program. So upskill them, right? And so if you have any cousins or brothers, sisters, friends, who you think they are free, not doing anything, they should join the Irtekaz program. We help and support our community in matrimonials as well. So anyone who wants to get married, all right, so just let us know, we can reach you, but that's free of charge service. And that's nothing professional, that's more personal one, all right? So then we talk about our consultation, implementing operational excellence or business continuity, having your organization certified as ISO standard. So these are the services that we do. So coming back to the question again, to Vikas, what you said. Agile is
Yes.
more combined as a project management approach, where you have a project. For example, you have to develop an application. So the way you collect the data and you implement, it's in cycles, right? So you do multiple rounds of data collection, implement something, move on to next phase again. So this is an agile approach towards the project management. Okay. And when we talk about, and by the way, it could apply to operations, to your product management as well, and so forth. But when you talk about PMP itself as a project management, so you go most likely in phases, right? So you complete one phase, you move on to the next one. You complete that phase, you move on to the next one. So that's your PMP approach. When you talk about BMAC, as I mentioned earlier, in organizations, you do multiple things. And in projects or in operations, when you have problems, that problem you want to fix through the MAC approach. By the way, there are some other elements as well. Okay, just give me a quick minute before I lose my connection there, guys. Okay, so just give me a quick minute. All right, yes, guys, can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Okay,
can
okay.
hear you.
So, yeah, so I was talking about others are more like Lean Six Sigma or DMAC, more majorly focus on your just look at the chat itself. So majorly focus on your
Operational efficiency.
problems.
Yeah,
Problems,
you're more into the like improving the operational efficiency. Actually, it's more about improving the efficiency by breaking down the set problems which are there according to the collected data, which is the X factor from the Y. Right?
Yes, exactly. So they're focused on the problem itself.
Yes. So anyhow, it was a great training. I appreciate that you have elaborated in a very brief manner, inside out, and it was a pleasure and honor having you here.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
everyone to be here. Appreciate.
Thank you so
And
much.
sorry I cut you off earlier just because of the time frame. I want to make sure
No,
that
that's
we got
okay.
it.
No, that's okay. I understood the priority, so it doesn't matter. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, guys. Salam
Thank you.
alaikum. Rahmatullah.
Assalamu
Walaikum assalam.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much.